You're now listening to Rings Kings Boxing World Flash Report.
All right, shout out to the fam. Appreciate y'all being on this episode of Ring Kings Boxing. Y'all feel free to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. By all means, feel free to hit the notification bell as well. Big Q representing the Ring King Boxing Nation. Stand up. We're going to talk a little boxing with the family members coming into this one, man. A couple articles I want to go off in this episode of Ring Kings Boxing World. Canelo chases Crawford with the rematch with no option. So this is where we are currently. As Crawford did, obviously take care. He put on the clinic against Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez is beltless, feeling a little empty without those belts, holding them for so very long. And now he has to chase an opponent, getting a little taste of what was given over the time. But Bud Crawford is giving him a little bit of his own medicine. Remember the $100 million situation? That's what Crawford wants. There's rumors about him retiring. I don't know how true any of this stuff is. But in the end, Canelo's chasing after him for redemption. So this is an article. Shout out to Boxing 24. Canelo decision to take on Crawford in 2026 is one of necessity, as they're reporting the 39-year-old Crawford, who's 42-0 with 31 knockouts, is the king. Undisputed, one of the tops in the field. Chris Mannix did mention that Canelo, who's 63-3-2 with 39 kills, lacks options at the super middleweight against notable fighters. Crawford is better known than the top fighters at 168. Quote, Crawford has people who have told me that they've offered Canelo the rematch a couple of times in the last few months, really, said Chris Mannix. And he said that Canelo is looking for a Terrence Crawford rematch next year. He's probably talking about around September of 2026. This is the first time that we've heard Canelo say publicly that he wants a rematch with Terrence Bud Crawford. The payday that Canelo will get fighting Crawford again would draw if he were to fight anyone else aside from David Benavidez. This one sting, said Sergio Mora, about Canelo losing to an older, smaller Crawford, but Crawford isn't bigger, stronger, or younger. He's just lost to a fighter that shouldn't have lost against for all of the belts that he needs to get back. Well, Crawford told everybody that he was going to do this. He went up several weight classes, which is something that I have never seen in my lifetime anybody do, and not take a fight there and then put on a clinic. I think he deserves all the respect in the world, in my opinion. Now, Canelo could have turned down the Crawford fight. It would have saved himself the humiliation of losing to Crawford, but it would have been better for him to face David Benavidez. Now, I like David Benavidez. I think he's one of my favorite fighters. But in the end, I don't think Canelo Alvarez intends on going after David Benavidez. I think that's an incredibly dangerous fight for the likes of a guy like Canelo Alvarez to go against Benavidez. Now, should he fight him? In my opinion, I think he should, but I think David Benavidez beats Canelo Alvarez. I really do. I think David is brutal. You've seen what he did to Anthony Yarde. Now, Yarde and Canelo are two different type of fighters, but it's just the ferocity in how Benavidez fights. He's trained to throw punches in bunches, and everything he hits you with, it has cruel intentions attached to it. He basically turned a meat pie out of the face of Yarde. He turned Yarde's face into basically a meat pie. Did you guys see how Yarde's face looked after David Benavidez got done with him? It ain't a good look. Canelo Alvarez really wants to do that, but he wants to stay put. And this rumor saying that Canelo wants another shot at Bud Crawford. I don't know why. I think Crawford beats Canelo Alvarez again, even though Canelo might have, I don't know if he looked beyond him and like, oh yeah, I can take care of this guy. He's nothing. And he just was playing sight games with Bud Crawford. Now that Bud dispatched him, you might see one of the most fierce Canelos that we've seen in a while, right? Kind of sitting with all those belts for a long time, kind of got a little soft perhaps, but it'll speak to his fiery spirit now that he'll have to chase down Bud Crawford. And of course, Bud wants, 6 digits or 6 figures, or actually 7 figures. He wants 7 figures to be able to line that up, and only Turkey a la Sheik would want to furnish that. Would people be interested in a Canelo versus Bud Crawford part 2? I don't know. Maybe a lot of the Canelo Alvarez fans believe that, hey man, he just had an off night. Canelo took him lightly. I've heard that. Well, I mean, if that's the case, a lot of people would be inclined to buy into that fight. Me personally, I've seen the fight. I've watched it several times. I think Crawford put on a clinic, and even if Canelo, who in my opinion is a great fighter, loses to a great fighter like Bud Crawford, he might have a different energy level coming back into the second fight. We've heard what Bud wants to do, his matchups going forward in 2026. We shall see if Crawford retires or keep fighting, man. But money talk, BS walks, right? What is your guys' take on it? What do you think happens in the Canelo and Bud Crawford rematch? Do you think this is something that materializes? Do anybody really want to see a part two of these guys fighting again? What do you guys think? Put it in the comment section, and I'm gonna holler at you on the next one. Y'all hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Kings Boxing, Big Q, bringing it to you live and direct. Ring Kings Boxing, fight the news for serious fight fan. With that being said, I'm out. Much love, peace.
Subscribe now and make Ring Kings Boxing your source for all the latest fight news.